Hey, it's Chef Evelyn, and I am back with another video. And I want to continue in this series of addressing some of the most frequently asked questions that I get as a culinary entrepreneurship coach and the CEO and founder of Gourmet Grad School. And one of the biggest questions I get all the time in various forms is how do I raise my prices in my chef business without losing my current clients, right? That is a big one, right? So usually what has happened is that, you have reached a point where you realize that A, you're worth more, or B, you should be charging more, or a combination of both, or your expenses in your business has gone up, and as a result, you need to increase your prices. Or maybe this happens a lot of time. Maybe you've been binge watching my channel for some time and you realize oh, I need to be charging premium prices for what I do. So whatever way you got to that conclusion, listen, I totally understand. And so what happens is oh no, though, if I raise my prices, I may lose my current clientele, and I don't want to lose the revenue that I do have coming in when I raise my prices. And usually what has gotten, us in that situation is maybe you have built your brand unintentionally, intentionally as a bargain brand or as an affordable brand or as an affordable price point. And sometimes you may have even prided yourself on that you're not as much as another chef and you still offer great quality. And maybe that's a value that you had at the time. But now you're in a different season or you're in a different situation in your business where it's no, I really want to raise my prices. Or it could be where you want to keep what you're currently doing in that current price point, but you want to add a more premium offering to what you currently do. And you're I just don't know if that's going to translate with my current clientele, my previous clients, and my potential clients and my following, right? And so here's the thing, it's well, how do I do this without losing them? And I will say this, right? There's different buyers for different things. And, I think sometimes we think that, there's no buyers for higher priced things. But in reality, there is a high-end premium or luxury version of everything on the planet. You can go to the dollar store and get a styrofoam cooler for $1.25, or you can go all the way up and buy a Yeti cooler, right? You can get a chapstick for 99 cents somewhere, and then you can go all the way up and pay $68 for a lip balm. So this idea that if you lose clients because you raise your prices, you'll have no clients is, and I hate to say it, almost rooted in a sense of scarcity and lack, meaning if I change the way I do business, I won't have clients, or I'm going to struggle to find new clients. But just like you were able to create a brand and attract the kind of clients that you currently have, you could do the same thing for your higher price point. I think what most people are afraid of is the middle, the transition, maybe the kickback, maybe the criticism, that may come from your current clientele. And here's the thing, it really has to boil down to what is more important to you. Is it more important to you to raise your prices and transition into, a more premium price offer? Or is it more important to you not to lose your current clientele? Or sometimes we're not even afraid of our current clientele. We are afraid of what people who haven't even worked with us at our current price point might have to say about our new price point, right? Let me know in the comments if that's been if you're really what, now that I think about it. But I want to say this to you. The reality is you might lose some clients, okay? Because people are attracted to certain brands for certain reasons. And if the current clientele that you have, if the most important thing to them is a bargain, right, is something that's lower price or more inexpensive, then yes, and a higher price offering is going to be incongruent to them, okay? But that doesn't mean you won't have clients, right? And so what I want you to know is that You might lose some clients, and that's totally okay, but you will gain new clients. But also, I will say this, there's probably a certain percentage of your current clientele who would be excited to have a higher priced offering from you. You know, maybe they love you, they love the brand, maybe they love your products and services, maybe they love what you do, and they're looking for the next step up in the journey of doing business with you. And if that's the case, then a percentage of your current clientele will transition into a more premium price offer, but it's not going to be 100%. So what I really want you to take away from this, if you're thinking, Evelyn, how do I raise my prices without losing current clientele, is that a percentage of them will go on that higher price journey with you, and a percentage of them will not, but you can gain new clients who will come and stay at that newer price point, right? The challenge is, I think, is the fear of like, I don't know how to attract those clients. Because maybe you didn't intentionally create a bargain brand. Maybe you didn't intentionally create a more accessible price point. Like maybe that wasn't your strategy. It's just that that's what you felt you could do at the time. Or maybe that's all you had the confidence for at the time. And now you feel differently. But now you're like, well, I don't even know how to attract those higher paying clients because all I've attracted are the clients who enjoy a bargain. And so this is what I want to say to you. If you want to attract those clients who are willing to pay a higher price because you are concerned about maybe a loss in revenue, maybe losing some of your most loyal clients or something like that, the reality is that you need to build a high-end culinary brand that will attract those higher paying clients. See, right now you've built, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you've built an affordable brand or a bargain brand, whether you know it or not, that's attracted the kind of clients that's what they're looking for. And so in that same vein, in that same breath, you can build a high-end version of your brand, a high-end culinary brand that will attract those higher paying clients. What usually happens is people like, Evelyn, well, I don't know how to do that. And if I knew how to do that, I wouldn't have built this version in the first place. I kind of would have started off with a high-end brand. And so here's the thing. What I want you to know that when it comes to building a high-end culinary brand, it's not a secret. And I say this all the time. If you've watched my videos, if you follow me on any of the social media platforms, if you're on my newsletter list, even I say this to my clients all the time, building a high-end culinary brand is not a secret, it's a formula. It's a recipe, very similar to in baking, right? They call them formulas versus recipes because there's science behind what's happening, and you really don't want to play with the ingredients too much unless you really understand what those ingredients are doing. It's the same thing when it comes to the formula for a high-end culinary brand. There are certain ingredients, aspects, components that need to be in place that will result you a high-end culinary brand, but you need to know what those things are. But conversely, no different than if you had a formula for, let's say, croquembouche, right? And you had all the ingredients. If you didn't have the directions on how to execute that dish, then all you've got is a list of ingredients. And so conversely, additionally, there's two other things that you need to be able to attract those higher clients to you. Number one, or the second thing outside of a high-end culinary brand is you need to understand the psychographics of a high-end culinary buyer. So a lot of times I get the question like, well, where are the high-end buyers? Where do I find them? And there's this belief that they're all concentrated in one particular area. Well, if that was the case, then how would we have high-end culinary buyers all over the world? The reality is high-end culinary buyers are everywhere. The thing is, you need that high-end culinary brand to attract them. And you need to transition from thinking about them demographically as if they're this one type of person or one, group of people, and transition more into thinking about them and their psychographics. How do they think? Why are they willing to pay a premium? Why do they excitedly pay a premium? Why do they pay it easily? Why are they happy to pay it? What exactly are they looking for in a high-end culinary brand when they want to go that route? And so understanding not only what are the components of a high-end culinary brand, but also the psychographics of a high-end culinary buyer is what's going to help you transition from a more affordable business model to a more premium high-end business model. And then the third thing you need in order to be able to attract, increase your prices and not lose clients, right? Because net, you won't lose, right? If you're attracting new clients, even if you're releasing some previous clients, net, you may increase or you may stay even, but you're going to make more money because you have higher prices. So that third thing that you need is the high-end culinary brand blueprint. You need, okay, I know the ingredients of a high-end culinary brand. I know the psychographics of a high-end culinary buyer. And now I need the step-by-step process of how to build it. What order do I need to put these ingredients in? What are the details about it? What's the step-by-step process? What are the systems that need to be in place in order to build it? So I want you to think about it like this. I want you to think about it like a custom home build, right? Not a track home, not a predetermined home. I'm talking about building a brand from scratch. Knowing the formula for a high-end culinary brand is like having the blueprint, right? That's the architect saying, okay, you need to have plumbing, you need to have electricity, and you also need to have this kind of room, that kind of room. You need to have, heated floors. You need to have all these kind of things. So you've got this amazing blueprint. But if you a plan, right? The formula of what goes in there. If you don't have the contractors who can say, okay, this is how you put in the foundation. This is how you put in the heated floors. This is the order that you need to implement it. Yes, foundation goes down first. Then we do plumbing. Then we do electrical. Then we do drywall. Clearly, I'm not in construction, but there's an order to it, similar to baking, similar to cooking. There's a reason why we do things in certain order, and you need to know what that is. If I just handed you a recipe and I didn't give you the step-by-step process of how much of this you need, and I just gave you a list of ingredients and I didn't tell you what order or what temperature or whatever, you may not come out with the same end result. Okay, so you need all three, and that knowing that you can have a high-end culinary brand that works as a magnet that's going to draw those high-end culinary buyers to you, and then knowing what that high-end culinary buyer wants, and then also having the step-by-step process to be able to execute that high-end culinary brand, that's going to net or exceed your expectations when it comes to not losing clients, right? So the reality is sometimes, we think about not losing clients is how do I keep my same clients? And what I'm saying is you will probably retain some of them, and then there may be some of them who won't go on this new journey or this new iteration of your business with you, but you will have new clients to replace them. So when at the end of the day, you're not losing clients. Matter of fact, you're making more money, sometimes even working with less clients, right? And so, knowing that high-end culinary brand formula, knowing the psychographics of a high-end culinary buyer, and then knowing the blueprint on how to build a high-end culinary brand, the fact that you need to know those three things is the exact reason why I created the High-End Culinary Brand Intensive, because I really wanted to get down to the nitty gritty and be able to spend some deep, dedicated time on really explaining the formula of a high-end culinary brand. What makes it different? What goes into it? What are the details? What makes it stand out from a standard brand, right? What are the benefits of having a high-end culinary brand, even more so than just being able to charge premium prices? But then what I realized is if you only knew the formula and you didn't understand the buyer, it would be really hard to communicate. Because typically, and I said this in one of my previous videos, that if you are drawing people who are looking for a bargain, who are looking for lower prices, if that wasn't your intent, then you are unintentionally, directly and indirectly communicating and emitting things from your brand that says, hey, I am a bargain brand, but then they get surprised, when they're like, oh, these are your prices, right? So if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't understand the mindset of a high-end culinary buyer, even if you have the formula for a high-end culinary brand, there's going to be a disconnect there. But then I thought even further and I said, well, Evelyn, it's one thing to have, the formula, and it's another thing to have the understanding of the psychographics of the buyer. But what if I don't know where in my business, I've got, missing pieces from the high-end culinary brand formula? Where do I know where the gaps are, where I need to start, where I need to work? And that's why inside of the High-End Culinary Brand Intensive, I take you through a guided self-brand audit, right? Where we go through the step-by-step blueprint of what it takes to build a high-end culinary brand. And so you can check your business against this audit, against this blueprint, and go, oh, I've got these pieces, but I'm missing these pieces and these pieces, or I don't even know what that is, and I need to put it in place. And I liken it to this. If you've ever felt something off in your body, and maybe you went to the doctor and you were like, there's something going on. And they were like, nope, you're fine. There's nothing going on. And you're like, no, I know that something is wrong. Sometimes when you finally find the doctor that's like, yeah, this is what's going on. Here's what you have going on. Here's what you need to do to fix it. Even before you get to fixing it, there's a level of relief there where it's like, oh, I knew I wasn't crazy. And now I have hope, even if what they tell you is not great, right? But it's like, okay, at least I know what's going on. And at least I know that there is an option available to me to rectify what's happening. That's the same thing. And that is the goal with this brand audit, which is I want you to be able to go, oh, okay, I understand now what I've been doing or not doing or saying or not saying or presenting or not presenting that has been contributing to me having these experiences. And now I know that I can go and fix those things, right? Or change those things. And so if you're like, yeah, Evelyn, I just kind of want to know, right? Like, even if you want to keep a lower price offering and you just want to add an additional higher price offering to your business, right? You either want to transition your whole business to more premium prices, or you want to add a premium price offer. It's like, okay, at least I know what needs to go into it. At least I know what the steps are. And then you can decide from there if you want to transition your business in that direction. So let me know in the comments below, have you been thinking about adding a higher price offer to your culinary business, or transitioning your whole business to a higher premium price model? I want to know. And I also want to invite you to the High-End Culinary Brand Intensive, right? So I would love to be able to share with you the step-by-step formula for a high-end culinary brand. I would love to be able to go deep in the psychographics of a high-end buyer. And I would love to take you through that step-by-step brand audit so you can see where you are and then create a blueprint to move forward. And so if you're like, yeah, Evelyn, that is me, I am ready, let's do it, then the link to register for the intensive is in the description box of this video. You can also just go to highendculinarybrand.com. All the expanded details are there of what we're going to be doing across the experience. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Peace.